From 2014, yesterday, this column posted on the issue of free speech after Lachlan Murdoch spoke about Keith Murdoch's efforts to end Gallipoli. The theory is not made up, but comes from other sources not mentioned and is supposed to provoke debate. On the site, Australian Political Debate Open Forum, Evan Carter posted, "Gobbledegook." A more enlightening riposte was posted by Russell Loye on Bolt Report supporters group. Initially, the post had Russell wondering openly if his auntie had a dick. Katrina Anthoney pointed out he hadn't addressed any arguments but had been openly sexual in abuse. Russell denied it was an opinion and instead compared it with successful Hollywood screenplay, which was fictional. So the core arguments were restated to him, and Russell responded with what had happened prior to Keith Murdoch's intervention. "Russell, that reply of yours is gobbledegook." They say what they think. Fright bats don't want to be laughed at, but they make it so hard. Has anyone ever successfully not thought about what they thought about? Fright bats reported Tim Blair to be censors over the term fright bat, and censors considered the issue. It was posted as satire and involved female columnists who had behaved badly. Censors listened to the arguments against, but decided they couldn't see it. It is true, fright bats say what they think, but maybe they haven't really thought about it. Not really, and none of them have successfully predicted the end of the world, or even a small town. Plibersek plans to spread plague, but is opposed by responsible people, and supported by irresponsible ones. Australian volunteers are serving in Africa fighting Ebola. Plibersek wants Mr. Abbott to order people there without an evacuation plan. Plibersek wants infected people brought to Australia without quarantine and forcing them into the general community. Such an irresponsible plan might be modelled on Obama's community organisation response. Naturally, the AMA is critical of the government and in support of Plibersek. Terrorist attack by Islamic wannabe in New York City. The crazed Islamic convert approached police and started swinging at them with an axe, seriously wounding two. Luckily, they shot him dead before he killed others. Did he fail his Islam entry test? Someone in the Islamic community has sponsored him. Recently, in several lone wolf engagements, family and friends of the convert had claimed the terrorist was quiet and a lovely person. Many of the converts are drug users and criminals who turn to terrorism. So where is the issue of redemption in Islam? ALP embrace Whitlam's failure, and friends of the ALP deny that Whitlam had any. His foolish, cold lack of compassion for those who suffered and died from his idealist position should be red flags even for his supporters. Leadership positions within the ALP are protected. Vietnamese couldn't even kill to obtain one. But worse, the realization that a solid budget is needed to underpin reform has been lost. Neither Hawke nor Keating had that, but they were also not as totally destructive as Gillard and Rudd had been. Seeming but not doing, no policy, corrupt opportunism for the ALP is no different now than the worst of Whitlam's years. Unreformed, nakedly obstructive and opportunistic. Peter Carey conspiracy theory and writer claims the CIA overthrew Gough Whitlam in 1975. In fact, the Australian voters did that. The CIA never even polled. Shorten declares he is Catholic in a fierce declaration against Catholic policy on gay marriage. Shorten then declares that because he is Catholic, he feels that the Liberal Party should support gay marriage. Personally, gay marriage should be legal because it isn't up to government to decide conscience issues. Only secular administration should be government, an argument Shorten seems to not understand. There are many fine Catholic people in all walks of life. Shorten is not one of them. Issues in isolation. Witch hunt for those who aren't left-wing, where New Salem witch hunt extends from totalitarians wishing to control thoughts. Brendan O'Neill asks, why is it bad to hack and expose photographs of a woman's naked body, but apparently okay to steal and make public the contents of a man's soul? A poet, Barry Spur, has had his private emails hacked and published. He has no opportunity to defend himself. His public views seem to be normal. ABC stands for anything but conservative as a new show sets to replace place, the 7:30 report is described as having a panel of left-wing hosts. Meanwhile, the ABC has spent big on the taxpayers' dime to take a soccer tournament away from the commercial TV. Meanwhile, ABC is spending big on Google to promote their left-wing programs. Jim Molan wants to run as Liberal for the Senate. He co-authored the successful Sovereign Borders policy and has served as a Major General. Tax and spend means poverty. Debt needs to be paid back, as Tony Abbott says. I said constantly before the election, and as I've said frequently since the election, that our plan was to build a strong and prosperous economy for a safe and secure Australia. ALP policy is for children and those yet to be born to pay for ALP whims. Currently, the ALP is blocking about $30 billion in cuts. Euro taxes prudence as the UK refuses to pay a bill to the EU for having higher growth than expected. It'd be better for Europe to tax nations that had underperformed. World Series update. Royals take 2-1 lead over Giants in a close game where a single in the first innings proved the difference.